Welcome to The Art of Likeability, ranked one of the top podcasts in the world. In this podcast, you'll discover how to leverage likability to build stronger relationships, lead more efficiently, close more sales, and keep customers happy while increasing success in your professional and personal life. Let's jump in with your host, Arel Moody.
What's going on, Art of Likeability family? Arel Moody here, your host of the Art of Likeability podcast, where you get to learn incredible strategies that might make you feel so fancy, you might start speaking in a British accent, even if you don't have one. Shout out to all my friends across the pond in the UK. Y'all all got the accents right now, but everybody else listening, you might just feel so fancy you start speaking in a British accent because everything sounds better in a British accent if you think about it. That Geico lizard, y'all didn't care about him. He didn't always have a British accent. Did you know that? I bet you didn't. Look at the old archives. He didn't. You give the dude a British accent, he becomes a internet celebrity. Okay, we're going to move on to today's topic, which I want to talk to you about public speaking and professional speaking, how it is such an important and powerful tool in influencing people. Now, for all of you listening, the odds are that you are interested in success, you're interested in growth and leadership, and doing public speaking is an incredible platform. And let me explain why it's such an important platform. I want you to kind of get this. Whether you're speaking about something you're passionate about, whether you're speaking at your job, whether you're speaking to get clients or whatever the case may be, whenever you start speaking and you're on the front of the stage, you are instantly the credible expert. People assume you are a genius, whether it's true or not. They assume you are the subject matter because why else would you be on the front of the stage unless you were the person who was like the best thing since sliced bread? This is what people think. Now, you might think, oh, well, that's not really true. People are, yeah, no, it is true. So I think public speaking is something that is an extremely crucial tool set and skill set that I would recommend you start practicing and getting really, really good at. Now, some of you listening to this right now, you might be like, yo, but Arel, dude, I'm an amazing speaker. I love speaking. Everyone always tells me I'm such an incredible speaker. That's great. I think you should keep doing it. But I want to give you some strategies to really take it to the next level. Whether you are someone who does not like speaking and you're afraid of it, or you're someone who does enjoy speaking. There's some simple things that you can do. Now, I want to tell you a quick story about what happened to me recently. I was on my way to Texas to go to a speaking engagement, and I experienced some of the most incredible turbulence I've ever had. Now, I've flown probably 3,000 times in my lifetime, maybe more. And I've experienced some turbulence, and I've always been like, all right, I know statistically planes don't really crash because of turbulence, but this was a different kind of turbulence. I mean, literally it was so bad that the flight attendant who was walking in the middle of the aisle, we hit a bump so hard, she flew to the floor, and we were like shaking and being thrown all over the place. And I actually, got to this point where I was wondering, like, is this the end of my life? Like, if this is it, if like this plane goes down, will I be happy with what happened? And it was interesting because when I looked over the aisle, there was a woman with a baby, maybe 4 or 5 months old, very young baby, and she was holding the baby and she was crying so much during the turbulence and kissing her baby and saying, I love you to the baby, because I can only imagine in her mind she was thinking, what if me and my child die? What if this child never gets to live? And it was a very surreal moment. And I looked over at her and I didn't say anything. And I just, prayed for her, prayed for myself, prayed for everyone on the plane. But it was an interesting moment because I asked myself, if I died right now, like if this plane went down, how would I feel about the life that I lived so far? Would I feel like I did all that I could? Would I feel like I was happy with my life? It's a very important question, and I'm going to show you how this connects to public speaking in a minute. But I want you to really hold on to this question. If you were to die right now, God forbid, and you knew it was about to happen and you had like a minute or two and you had to think about your life And like, would you say like, yo, I did everything I was supposed to, like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Obviously I'd like to live longer, but this is what I got, but I'm happy with what I got. It's all good. Or would you feel like you didn't? Would you feel like there were some things that you could have done differently, better, or things you never got to do? Now, one of the things that I hold on to that means a lot to me is that I've got to travel to so many different places and do so many speaking engagements and know that I've impacted people, as a speaker, I've impacted over 500,000 people. So in the audience, there's been over 500,000 people at the various speaking engagements I've done in my lifetime, which has been an honor. And I look at each one of those people as people that I've gotten to kind of put an imprint on. Whether they remember my name or not, it's kind of irrelevant. What's most important is that there was a experience, a impact that was made that I believe will stay with them. And what's great about public speaking is that many times it's moments that change your life. Like, if you really think about it, it's usually a culmination of these individual moments. And there's that one moment where things click, and you've probably had that experience. You probably had a conversation with someone, maybe one of the episodes here that you've listened to. But there's something different about a live in-person presentation from someone who's really good. It's an ability. I've sat in events and I've felt things change inside of me. I felt myself say, I can do this. I remember the first time I was at an event, I was at a business event when I was like 19 or so. And there was a speaker who came out and was just rocking the stage and speaking. And I had this feeling like I can do that. Like I know I can do that. And not only can I do it, I would love to do that. And it was this moment that changed the rest of my life. And I've had other moments where I was at events where I doubted myself. I really doubted myself. And I would go to an event and someone would take me through this process of seeing my life differently. And I would have this moment where a switch would go off inside of me. And I really, truly believe that a presentation, when you do it in a public speaking style, professional speaking, like you're in the front of the stage, in front of a bunch of people. I'm doing a podcast right now. This is technically professional speaking because I'm speaking and making money from doing it and that jazz. But public speaking is when you're standing up, microphone in hand, audience member. There's something about the energy. It's like the difference between watching a basketball game on TV, right? Like, it's fun. You enjoy it. Like, it's a good experience. But it's nothing like being at the actual stadium, right? Like being there and seeing the game happen live. The energy from that experience, it's just, there's nothing that compares to it. So not only do people see you as a credible expert when you do public speaking, you also have the ability to enact change in people at a very large level, at a high level, in a very short period of time. It could be an hour, 30 minutes, 2 hours. I mean, relatively speaking, what you're doing in that short period of time is really making a difference. Now, you're probably not going to be able to change someone's life and solve all their problems. You're definitely not going to be able to solve all their problems in a 1 hour presentation. However, you can shift the direction in which they're going. You can change where they're moving. Now, from a individual perspective, I really encourage you to do more public speaking, whether it's for presentations at your job, whether it's for acquisition of clients, like speaking for free to let people know about the work that you do, that people might want to work with you, providing like a value benefits that are so good that people say we need more, so they want to hire you and your services. The thing is, speaking is very powerful in terms of building credibility. You can add it to your bio, so like your CV of like why you're so great. It's because you do public speaking on the topic. You're a sought after speaker. Like, it really helps you to build credibility in your brand. Like, instantly you can go from like a nobody to someone who's of significance if people see you speak. So there's something really powerful about it. So I encourage you, if you're someone who's been on the fence about stepping up, or you feel anxiety about it, to do it more. It will advance your career more than you might ever believe. And for those of you who love it and continue to do it, just know it's an ability to change and impact lives, to make people say, I always remember when I heard that one person say this and it affected the way I see things moving forward. Like, you owe it to people to do more of it. It's very, very, very important. So what I would encourage you to do is think of what are the different places you could give presentations. Like where could you do it? So it might be if you're working in a team setting, like presenting your findings for a report of some sort. It could be going down to your local business group. Like maybe there's a local chamber of commerce or a Toastmasters club or a Kiwanis club or whatever, like an association of business people. And you say, hey, I'd love to come speak about whatever is your topic, whether it's your profession and you want. So, for example, if you want to acquire clients, let's say I'm someone who does sales training as an example, right? I could come in and say, hey, I'd love to do a free sales training at the local Chamber of Commerce to teach people about how to close more sales. And then you give a really great content-rich presentation at the end. You make an invitation and say, hey, if you'd like this, you'll love working with me more one-on-one. For those of you who'd like to, please let me know. Obviously, there's a lot more detail to it, but that's the basic gist of it. You'll get clients that way. For those of you who just have a passion about it, like call up your local high school or college and reach out to these folks, and say, hey, I'd love to, come speak to your students to empower them, say great words. You'll be surprised how many people say yes. Think about any organization you've ever been involved with, any board you've ever sat on, any conference you've ever attended. If you've attended the conference, well, why can't you speak at it? It's not that difficult. Penny, you got something good to say, you reach out to the conference coordinator and say, hey, I'd love to do a workshop on this topic at the next event. Can I? You will be astonished at how many people say yes, because many times these conferences, they kind of have the same people year after year. So bringing in fresh blood is actually pretty exciting for them. So reaching out to them is really great. In fact, I created something. There's a website that I own called truespeakingsuccess.com. It's something that I've put together because many people always ask me, well, how do you speak? Actually, on that website, if you go to truespeakingsuccess.com/free, you can actually get a free course that I put together on how to get your first professional speaking engagement. It shows you step-by-step with scripts, who to reach out to, how to reach out to them, what to say, how to position yourself. There's a ton of great content in it. So if you go to truespeakingsuccess.com/free, you can get the free course that I put together that will allow you to get a lot of the tips and tricks and things that you need to start getting professionally paid speaking engagement. You can get free speaking engagements from this. But the most important thing is that you start doing more of it because it'll impact people. One of the things I'm doing is I'm doing a live training in Tampa, Florida, July 23rd, 24th, 25th, 2017. So if you go to truespeakingsuccess.com/summit, SUMMIT, you can find more about that live training. I'd love for you to come out. If you're somebody who's listening to this and you're like, you know what, I really want to do more speaking engagements. If that is something that is a good fit for you, come join us. It'll be cool. You'll get to meet other great people who are leveraging likability in various different professions. You can learn some really great tips on how to really start and grow getting paid to speak. Now, you get paid thousands upon thousands of dollars for an hour of time, which is it's pretty awesome, honestly. And you learn how to impact people. So I would encourage you to go to truespeakingsuccess.com/summit to learn more about that live 3-day event that I'm doing. I'd love for you to be there, especially whenever I get to meet listeners. It really is crazy exciting for me because I'm speaking on a microphone right now. I can't see you, but you can hear me, but you can't see me speak. And it's a kind of a weird relationship. I'm speaking on a mic, you're listening through your earphones or whatever. So meeting in person is pretty cool. It's an amazing 3-day experience. I've done it once before and it was just incredible. So if it's something you care about, I really encourage you to check it out. Again, if you want to do the free course, like it's a course I put together, just go to truespeakingsuccess.com/free and you get access to it. But I want to challenge you to step up to either get your first public speaking engagement or get your next public speaking engagement sooner than later. That's my challenge to you, okay? Because as I mentioned, there's a list of things that it helps you build strength and courage and belief in yourself. And, a lot of times people say, well, how do I get over being anxious? Just remember, you can't fail. I've never been to a speaking engagement where you've done it and people really wanted you to fail. If you're presenting to clients, they might say no, but they don't want you to fail. Nobody wants you to fail when you do a speaking engagement. Everybody wants you to succeed. So actually just remember that. Sometimes I'll speak and I'll mess up and people just be like, it's okay. Nobody has ever thrown a spear at me or a trident, into my collarbone. It's just never happened. It's not going to happen to you either. Okay, so stop thinking some crazy stuff like that's going to happen. You're not an anchor man, and you're not going to get hit with a trident. Okay, that's a reference you'd only get if you've seen the movie. If you didn't see the Will Ferrell movie, that went right over your head. You're fine. Okay, so I encourage you to do more of it. It gives you credibility. It gives you expert status. It gives you celebrity status. It allows you to impact people in a huge way in a small amount of time. So reach out to local business think about who would benefit from your message. Don't say everybody, okay? If you're someone who says everybody, come to the summit because we got to fix that. It's not for everybody. Is there a business group? Is there a student group? Is there a nonprofit group, a religious group that would benefit from it? Find one of them that's local to you and just reach out to anybody and say, I'd love to come and do a speaking engagement for your members. Do it for free. You're not going to get paid for it. They might pay you for it. If they do, take their money. If they're offering you money, you take it, okay? Words of wisdom from me to you. But you can do it for free. The key about this is just doing it. So I want to challenge you to do it. Reach out to them. Come up with a topic. Even ask them and say, hey, what kind of stuff are you interested in? And see if they're saying anything that you could actually provide service for. And then do it. It's an amazing experience. If you've done a bunch of speaking engagements before, get another one, okay? Get one faster than you got one before. So that's my challenge to you. So again, just to recap, we got the free course. Go to truespeakingsuccess.com/free. It's a website that I've created to help you get your first paid speaking engagement. And for those of you, and I really hope that you're considering it, if you're listening and you're curious about speaking, join me in Tampa, Florida in July 23rd, 24th, 25th. Go to truespeakingsuccess.com/summit to learn more about that. It'll be awesome. And most importantly, do something from this podcast episode. Don't just listen to it, right? Listening ain't gonna change your life. It's the implementation of information that absolutely transforms your life. So I encourage you to take a risk on yourself. Jump. Even if the thought of public speaking scares you, take on my challenge. Let me know what you think. Shoot me a message on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter @Arel Moody. Make sure to leave a 5-star review on iTunes or Stitcher or iHeartRadio, wherever you're listening to us. If you're on iTunes, come on now. Just leave a 5-star review. Write some nice words with your review. I like reading them. It brings me joy, and I hope this brings you joy. All right? And this is going to help you get more success and more happiness. If you don't want more success and happiness, you have listened to the wrong podcast. But I think you do. So I'm out of here, y'all. Sending you a big ol' high five. You are awesome.
Thanks for listening. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast, The Art of Likeability, and reach out with any questions you have. Until next time, remember, my friend, you are awesome.